Okay, I think we're live now. I'm just going to check my blog and make sure we're broadcasting there. It's Saturday, November 7th. It's looks a little cloudy out. Um, Sun is trying to peek out, but it should be a nice day. And I don't see me yet on my blog. I hope I'm broadcasting everywhere. I'm going to just check my Facebook page and make sure I'm there. Okay, it's coming up here. All right, I think we're coming in now, which is good. So, all right. So again, it's November 7th. It's a cloudy day with some of the sun trying to peek out, and it's time for okay. So that's our introduction, and per the preview, we're going to discuss renting versus buying, the benefits and the disadvantages of each. Okay, and this topic comes up a lot with real estate people talking to their clients, especially if that client is renting at the during that period of time. So we're going to talk about the pluses and the minuses of that. Before we do, Leonard, our producer, is in lovely downtown Phoebus, and he wants to say a few words.
Yes, Chris, I am in lovely downtown Phoebus. The Christmas decorations are going up and new businesses are opening, such as the Foxtail Wine Bar and the Baker's Wife. There will be a new brewery, and Scratch Bakery will be expanding, and the owner will compete on the Food Network's Bake Off competition. Very exciting news. Make sure you visit.
All right, thank you, Leonard, and I will. I was there during the week, saw the decorations going up. There's even more now. It's looking very festive. And to discuss some of the new businesses that are coming up around there, we have the Foxtail Wine Lounge. And I stopped by last week. They had a soft opening, but I believe this weekend they're having their grand opening. And they have plenty of wine to pick from, to have a glass or a bottle, and they have a menu. The biggest thing is, and I'm going to mispronounce it, but charcuterie, and basically it's different deli meats, prosciutto, salamis, and then cheeses, and you have that with your wine. It's really nice. It's really nice. And what they're also doing, they will be opening up a room in the back for people who like cigars. And you could go there and have a glass of wine and a cigar. So I'm really looking forward to that because I do enjoy and occasional cigar if you've seen pictures of me on Facebook. Okay, and the baker's wife is opening up another eatery, another restaurant, and there's a new brewery. I forgot the name of it right now, and I apologize. That's coming up on Mallory Street. And actually, when I was driving in the area, I saw work being done on another property. I believe that's the expansion of Scratch Bakery. And the owner of Scratch Bakery will be competing in the Food Network's Bake Off. So that's very exciting. A lot of exciting stuff is happening. Of course, if you know Phoebus, they built a large development of apartment housing, and they look beautiful. I drove past them as well during the week, and that's looking great. Phoebus is going to be really a bustling area, and we actually will need more type of places to eat and enjoy, whatever. So I'm hoping new businesses will go into that area and open up shops. You have your antique stores there already, and you have my wonderful, it's not that I own it, but the wonderful American Theater, where I've been there for many performances, and it's quaint and it's small, it's intimate. And I've seen jazz performers. I've seen the Vienna Boys Choir. I've been there for plays. It's a wonderful, wonderful theater. And they're having a great 2021 season starting in February. I'm just praying everything goes well with COVID-19, that they'll be able to start with the performances in February. Or in early spring, and they have a very ambitious schedule for the spring of 2021. So it would be nice that once you come out of the theater, or before you go to the theater, you have plenty of places to eat and shop. Would be fantastic for the area. Okay, all right. So for today's topic, rent versus buying, let's get our little blackboard up here. Okay, and before I do that, let me just actually close down this so there's more room to see the blackboard, and we'll go over our items for today. I'll just show you a fast little video that I put out this week, and it's a nice way to bring us into today's topics. Okay, So that's the subtopics for today that we're going to go over. And keep in mind, well, actually, let me get my my graphic up here, and I think I might make myself smaller so that, yeah, so you could see the whole thing. Okay. All right. We're going to go over here and look at this chart. And I think this chart really explains it quite vividly. All right. So we have down here to the left of the chart, we have 1988. And what it's doing, it's showing the upward movement of rents, okay, during that time period, going back to 1988. So you see a steady climb from here all the way to 2020, where in 2020, and you really see like a big movement going up from 2019 to 2020, you see a gigantic leap in rent prices. So with this going up, and presently with mortgage rates being so low, it is cheaper after your initial down payment to own a house than to rent one. Okay. And basically what we're doing here, we're comparing your monthly mortgage payment to a monthly rent payment. So you have definitely an increase in your rents, especially in the last 2 or 3 years. I mean, it's steadily going up, but now it's at this gigantic high point. Okay. So let's back up on this article. And let's start here with our first topic. Rent will continue to rise. And it does. And as long as the economy is strong, and right now it is, we're dealing with COVID-19. But basically the economy is still going strong. And that's bringing in as well as the stock market. Now, I don't want to get into a big discussion now with the amount of jobs that are out there, and basically with the amount of jobs that have been lost. That's a whole other topic, right? So as for the stock market has been good. Last year, during the week, I did a short video on the GDP, and that went back up. So as for the stock market, it's good. The GDP went back up, and needs to go further, but we still have different issues like people losing their jobs and businesses closing. That's still going on. Okay, we can't negate that or not to mention that. So when you take the economy, there's many aspects of the economy that we have to consider. So at this point, unless we go into a deep recession, and I don't want to say the word depression, but there may be a change in the rents from going up to going down. But then, we're at such a critical point, especially with the election, and even this morning, we still don't know who the winner is. There's a lot of items into play here, and it's hard to really make a prediction of what's going to happen in the future because there's so many factors involved. All right, we have COVID-19. We still have to deal with that. We have to get that under control. We really need the next stimulus package. All right, and these are items I've talked about separately, especially for people who are paying their rent. And right now they're having difficulty because they've lost their jobs. They lost that extra money they were receiving with their unemployment checks, and they're having a difficult time making their rent payments. And the owners of those properties, the landlords, they may also have outstanding mortgages that they have to pay. So when that money is not coming in, it affects them, and they're having financial difficulties, and they may have to foreclose on the house. So there's still a lot of things in play here, and we need to, or the government needs to, make more decisions on how to deal with COVID-19 and on the stimulus package. So with that out of the way, in most situations, rent will continue to increase. All right. So you're going to always have to deal with that. And if you're a renter. So let me also now go to the next topic here. Freedom to customize. Okay. And we're going to go down to the portion of the PDF file. Okay. And this is a big thing because when you rent a property, if you wanted to make a major change, even if you wanted to paint, because most apartments, most homes are painted in a white, because the white color basically would go with everything, and it's when the landlord takes it back, they just have to buy another set of white paint. They don't have to go and look for specialized paint if you did a blue or a red or whatever. And even if you would paint the walls your own color, the landlord will request that you bring it back to white before you leave. Okay, so and that becomes an added task to do that. But let's look at bigger things. Let's say you wanted a newer kitchen, you wanted to take down a wall and open up the house more. You can't do that. You can't make major changes or upgrades to the house. That's up to the landlord. All right. So you do not have that freedom to customize the house on your own. All right. The next one we have is privacy. Okay. And next caption up here. All right. And this is another big issue between owning and renting, is that when renting, your landlord has access to your space in case of emergency. If you own your own home, however, you're the only one to decide who can come inside. Given today's health concerns around the pandemic, this may be a growing priority for you. And even before the pandemic, basically, an owner or landlord could enter. I mean, they usually will give you a notice if they're coming, if they had to do some sort of inspection, if they had to do some type of repair, but they could enter in case of emergency. And let's say you're in an apartment building and the apartment below you, there's water coming down. So there might be a leak in your apartment. So they, of course, they would knock on the door, make sure, before they enter, everything is okay. But this would be an unannounced surprise visit, because it's their property and they have to take care of the well-being of their other tenants. They would have the right to enter your apartment during an emergency. Now, the next one here, and we'll go to my next item, is flexibility for relocation. And the plus with that, or what? Well, actually, it's not really a plus. Actually, in one sense, this works better for the renter because here it says if you're renting, it may be easier to move quickly should you have a job transfer or simply decide it's time for a change. When you're a homeowner and need to sell your house, this might take a little time more. Today, however, with the housing market's low inventory, this may no longer be the case. Homes are selling at a record breaking pace. So you may have more flexibility than you think. Okay. So this kind of goes both ways. Um, it's it may be easier to quickly vacate an apartment than selling a house, and I also have to bring in the fact that if you're in the middle of your lease and you're breaking it, the landlord might have or could have the right, all right, to ask for the remaining balance of the lease. Now, most times you could work out something where you say, okay, uh, I'll pay you until the apartment is fully rented by another party, and they usually agree to that. And most rentals will be rented within a month's time. So that's something that may be actually in the lease that if you would vacate early, you would still owe the following month's rent. Okay. But basically, you're just moving your stuff out. And that would make it easier to move when you have a rental. But when you're selling a house, there's a lot more involved because uh, people will come to the house. They put offers in. They'll do home inspections. The home inspector will find things that are wrong with the house, and you have to repair it. Um, so it definitely takes a little bit longer. All right. What the article brings out here, because of how fast houses are selling that are on the market, you would not have to wait that long to get rid of it. And I don't mean that in a negative way, but you could get the house sold and have the freedom to move. So there are many more tasks involved when you are an owner of a house and you need to move, but it won't be such a long process now because of today's market where we actually need more listings. And to my people listening out there, if you're ready to move and you want to list your house, please contact me. Thank you. Thank you very much. All right. And now the other couple of big things here. Let's go down to this here. And we're going to go down to building equity. So what does that mean? Well, I'm going to tell you. So when we build equity in the house, we're actually gaining more ownership in it. So let's say at the very beginning, we buy a house for $100,000. We put down $20,000 and we finance the rest of the purchase price. We have $20,000 worth of equity in the house. Now, this is positive here, right? That's something. Equity is like an asset; you own it, and anything you own, if you were going to take out a loan, you could use it as collateral. So you actually, if you need to do something, where they're saying here, this savings will be able to use in the future for things like sending children to college, starting a new business, buying a bigger home, or simply downsizing to save for retirement. When you have this equity, it becomes very, very powerful. All right. Plus, of course, if you sell your house and you have, let's say, with the same $100,000 home, you now have equity. Let's say of $70,000. when you sell that house, you're going to make at least 70,000 in cash. That right, you're not paying off the original loan. I mean, you're paying off some of the loan, but you don't have to pay back as much. So you have 70,000, and of course, most likely the value of the price went up, and I'm talking about the market value of the house. So you'll be clearing at least 70,000, and whatever you sold the house over the original price. So it becomes very powerful, and it's a good thing. When you rent, you don't have that. We rented in Brooklyn for a long time. I figured I paid, maybe $150,000 in rent over. We were there like 24 years. Okay, I have nothing to show for that. If we had purchased and we were making mortgage payments, it's very possible then I would have had $150,000 in equity. All right. Now we're homeowners here in Hampton, Virginia, and we're building up equity down here. All right. And then here is the tax advantages here. The last one here. And okay, why am I not seeing my... Let's see what's happening over here. Did I lose my graphic? Oh, I think I know what I did. All right. Okay. Okay, we got it back up here. Then we have the tax advantage. So when you own your own home, there are additional advantages that work in your favor as well. You can deduct things like property taxes and mortgage interest. When you rent, however, the tax benefits are directed to your landlord. Now, again, every time I go for a continuing education class for being a associate broker, we always have to state when we talk about these different items, I'm not a tax accountant, I'm not a lawyer, all right? You have to speak to your professionals in this area, okay? In general, there will be a tax advantage for you, but each circumstance is different. And see, we use the term tax advantage, it's an advantage. I mean, for a lot of people, having this mortgage interest and tax payments going against your income when you're filing your taxes most likely will yield you a tax refund. All right, but it depending on how much money you make. So we can't say you definitely get a nice big tax refund because it has to go against your income. But that's a tax event. Now, if anything, it would lower the amount that you would have to pay back to the government because you own a home and you deduct mortgage interest and your taxes, your real estate taxes to the house. So that's a good thing. So basically, there's pros and cons of each. The pro and the con, I'm a real estate agent, right? So I want you to buy, okay? And of course, there are so many advantages to owning a home. But like, for example, we had the chimney inspected, to be cleaned, and then they found a hole in the wall, and they had to take down the original fireplace, patch up the hole. But then when they when they took out the original fireplace, there was water in the well of the fireplace, so that was another problem. So it ended up costing us even more money than it was originally invoiced. Now, if we rented it, and let's say there was definitely a problem with the fireplace, let's say the owner on a yearly basis inspected it, and there was a problem, it would be his cost or her cost of fixing it. So when it comes to house repairs, that's your responsibility. You can't say, okay, I'll call the landlord and they'll make that repair. I have a flood in the bathroom. let me call the landlord. They'll fix it and pay it. All right. So these house repair costs fall on you. And some people don't want to be bothered with that. Okay. Some people just want to have a place to live. I mean, it looks nice, but I don't want to get involved with the daily upkeep of a home. I'll pay my rent, and that'll be included in my rent. The uprates, whatever. Okay, but a lot of times, if a landlord has a lot of properties, and let's say, for instance, with this example with the fireplace, you don't need a fireplace. Okay, you need running water, you need heat. Okay. You need electricity, but you don't need a fireplace. So let's say we rented the house and they did an inspection. They saw there was a problem with the fireplace and was going to cost like $5,000-$6,000 to repair. They said, okay, I don't got the money right now. Just don't make any fires this winter. Then you would be at the mercy of your landlord. All right. So if you need a repair or you want to make a change to a house, you could do that immediately. Okay, you could set that up. You don't have to wait for anybody else to make a decision on whether or not to make that repair or renovation. Okay, and these are the repairs that are non-essential. So there's a part of the population that says, hey, that's fine with me. I work hard. I come home. I want to go out. I want to enjoy myself. I want to enjoy my weekends. I don't want to spend my weekends mowing a lawn, painting the side of the house. I'm not into that. I'm not into gardening, and so forth. And that's fine, right? That's their lifestyle. That's what they want. But there are advantages of owning the house instead of buying. And the decision is purely up to you. Okay? If you want to buy, please contact me. I'll be very happy to show you homes all throughout Hampton Roads. All right, so we're getting to about 10:32 right now. Like I said, I really don't want to go more over 30 minutes. So we're going to begin to sign off. But last week, we had Leonard introducing, we had some very, very exciting guests in the audience. We had problems with that tape, and I think we have it together today. So we're going to replay that now. So Leonard, do we have any special guests in today's audience?
Chris, great news. We have two famous celebrities in the audience. They are circus entertainers and the sons of Ildebrando Zacchini, who came from a large Italian family residing primarily in Tampa, Florida. Although they were not the first men to perform the human cannonball act, nor the only, they quickly became well known for their doings. As well as being human cannonballs, the brothers were also wire walkers, tumblers, trapeze artists and riders. Throughout the years, they worked with various traveling circus companies including Ringling Brothers and Barnum and Bailey Circus. Their show was often referred to as the greatest show on earth and was considered to be a continental sensation. Ladies and gentlemen, the Flying Zacchinis.
Wow, that was very impressive. I didn't even know we had that much room in the audience to set up the trapeze and have all of that done. That is fantastic. Thank you, Leonard. So that's it for today. Have a wonderful, wonderful week. This week is Veterans Day, and I want to thank all our veterans for the work they have done for protecting our country. We appreciate you. All right, and then we'll see you next week. Oh, first, be safe, be well, wear your mask, keep 6 feet away, wash your hands. All right, but we'll see you again next week at this time for the world famous Real Estate with Mr. G.